Hi everybody, welcome to the Edge Designations introductory video for the CAIA Level 2 2023 exam. My name is Russell Jude, I'm a CAIA charter holder and I will be your lead instructor for CAIA Level 2 and for those doing Level 1, for Level 1 as well. The purpose of this video is twofold, maybe even threefold. First and foremost, I want to take you through from a CAIA point of view, okay, what you can expect from the CAIA Level 2 exam, how it differs a little bit from CAIA Level 1 exam, etc., but mainly to talk a little bit about the structure of the CAIA Level 2 exam. Alliance to that, I also want to talk a little bit about, particularly for those that perhaps have been in the system for a while, perhaps those that never passed CAIA Level 2 in 2022, what are the changes from 22 to 23? Good news, of course, they are not many. And lastly, as part of this introductory video, I just want to introduce Edge Designations to you and just to show you what we have available to assist you to pass the March 2023 exam. Okay, first and foremost, let's get going straight away and let's talk a little bit about the CAIA exam itself. CAIA Level 2, okay, they talk about study time 200 to 250 hours, and again that's going to largely depend upon how strong your CAIA Level 1 was. Okay, depend upon, are you missing CAIA Level 1, and some people are hopping straight into CAIA Level 2 coming from the CFA program. Okay, are you working in the alternatives industry? Have you got experience there? So 200 to 250 hours is really dependent upon many different factors. But that's just an average amount of hours required to study to pass this exam. Okay, the exam itself is 4 hours, no difference to CAIA Level 2 to CAIA Level 1 to CAIA Level 2. Okay, the difference kicks in now. Okay, there are two exams. There's exam session 1 and exam session 2. Exam session, they're both 2-hour exams. Okay, so exam session 1 is 2 hours, exam session 2 is 2 hours. The difference is exam session 1 is completely MCQs. Okay, entire exam session 1 is only MCQs, and again you should be very familiar with the structure. It's carbon copy what you saw in Level 1 for those that wrote Level 1. Those that never wrote Level 1, let's just give you a little look inside. Okay, and what we've got is you've got 2 hours. You've got 120 minutes to do 100 MCQs. Okay, the maths is easy. At 72 seconds a question. Is that fast? Very. Okay, so part of the challenge, as we experienced guys in CAIA Level 1, same for CAIA Level 2, exam session 1 being 100 MCQs, it's quick, we've got to move, we've got to get through that syllabus quickly, get through the exam quickly, and you have to finish as well, because remember, we don't want to leave anything left on the table. We want to answer all the 100 MCQs in the 2 hours that we have. We've got to work quickly. Okay. What's interesting about the difference between exam session 1 and exam session 2, yes, exam session 2 is constructed response. We'll talk a lot more about that, okay, as we go through the particular session. Okay, but what you notice about the difference between the two, they're both 120 minutes, they're both 2 hours. Exam session 1 is MCQ, exam session 2 is constructed response, yet the marks differ. Exam session 1, when you look at, okay, it's purely MCQs, and that makes up 70% of the syllabus, sorry, 70% of the exam. The total marks, 70% you get in exam session 1 related to MCQ. Exam session 2 being constructed response, okay, also 2 hours, but that makes up 30% of the total exam weight. And we often get asked, okay, do you need to pass both exams? The answer is no. You need an overall mark. What is that overall mark to pass? Well, CAIA tells you that at the most, it's 70%. In other words, if you get 70% of the total marks, from exam session 1 and 2 all together, you will pass this exam. But of course, guys, we know that pass mark might be lower than 70%. Okay, so just a brief look at the exam. Exam session 1, MCQs, 70%, 100 MCQs, quick. Exam session 2 is constructed response. Okay, constructed response is going to be made up of 3 questions. Constructed response, everyone says, oh, is that the essay paper? No, it's not the essay paper. There is no essay paper. There are no essays. It's a constructed response, and we've got to get this clear up front that people don't get the wrong idea, people don't get nervous. Okay, it's not essay writing, there's no grammar here, spelling doesn't count, all that kind of good stuff. Don't worry about that at all. All that constructed response is as opposed to multiple choice. What you get asked a question, and you've got to give a constructed response to the question that you are asked. Most answers in the constructed response paper, as you see, there are going to be 3 big questions, but they're multi-part questions. So, for example, question number 1 may have a part A, a B, a C, and even maybe a D. Okay, same thing with question number 2, and same thing with question number 3. They are not essays, they are constructed responses, okay, for questions that have been asked. Nothing more than that. Okay, I don't say it's easy. Okay, but it's not long essays, it's not grammar, it's not English writing, literature, anything of that nature, and it's very, very doable. But we have to guide you through that as well. Okay, we have a look over here. When is the exam window? Okay, the exam window for March 23 is the 20th to the 31st of March 2023. Okay, no time like the present. Okay, everyone says, how long do you need to start to study for, and when do you need to begin? Well, the sooner the better. CAIA Level 2 is a big syllabus, okay, and the sooner you get going, okay, the better it is. And for those, this is just a little bit of not a warning, we don't give people warnings, but just a bit of an out there, is that those coming from CFA Level 3, don't underestimate this paper, this CAIA L2 paper. We often get guys coming through from level 3 from CFA, and they don't make CAIA level 2 the first time. It is a challenging paper. It is a lot of hard work. You've got to really put your effort in. And particularly remember, guys coming from CFA, guys, you haven't done CAIA level 1, so you're not into the CAIA syllabus per se. Okay, so you really do need to put your effort in and really give it a show. Okay. Let's have a look at what the topic weights are for CAIA Level 2. I'm going to make this just a little bit bigger so we can see it nicely. Let's have a look. There we go. Okay. Looking over here, the topic weights, okay, is you've got 9 topics altogether. Remember, guys, coming out of CAIA Level 1, you had 6. Now you've got 9. Okay. And what they do in CAIA Level 2 is they split them up just a little bit. Your very first 2 topics, okay, emerging topics, which is all what we often refer to as current events, things like that, topical stuff that's out there, as well as ethics, regulation, and ESG, the 2 of the 9 topics, will only be found in the constructed response question paper, exam session 2. They are not going to be there in the MCQs. Okay, and remember what we said a little bit earlier, exam session 2 is what? Is the constructed response paper made up of 3 questions. So question 1 is going to be emerging topics. Question 2 is going to be ethics, regulation, and ESG. The wild card, the challenging one, is where is question 3 coming from for constructed response? Anywhere from the balance. Okay. Then we move across to the MCQs. MCQs is made up of 7 topics. Now, out of those 7 topics, let's go. Topic 3, models. 4, institutional asset owners and investment policies. 5, risk and risk management. 6, methods for alternative investing. 7, access or accessing alternative investments. 8, due diligence and selecting managers. And 9, volatility and complex strategies. Of those 7, they are guaranteed. All 7 topics will come up in the MCQ paper. Their weighting will range between 8 and 12%. Of course, if you take an average of 8 to 12, you get 10%. For those 7 topics, 10% times the 7 topics, there gives you your 70% weighting for those particular sections. Okay, so remember what we said, that MCQ makes up, even though there are two separate exams and each exam is 2 hours, MCQ makes up 70% of the total mark, and constructed response makes up 30%. Okay. Having said that, we know now that constructed response is 3 questions. 1 will be emerging topics, 2 will be ethics, regulation, ESG. The third one can come from any of the remaining topics from 3 through till 9. And we constantly get questions, and it gets worse as we get closer to exam time. What do you think is going to be asked? Which one are they going to ask? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? One thing I can promise you, I've got a wonderful relationship with the CAIA guys. I think they're a fantastic bunch of guys, and they've done a fantastic job with this designation. But I can also tell you that they never phone me to ask me what I think should be in the exam. They never consult with me about the exam, and of course, rightly so. So I have no idea what's going to be in the paper. I have no idea what question 3 will be. So it doesn't help to ask. Okay, there is your topic weights, and that is your exam, guys. Okay. Let's have a brief look at the textbooks and chapters. Emerging topics, okay, where is the material for emerging topics? That you're going to find, those are specific CAIA readings that are made available to you. The balance of the material, topic 2 all the way through to topic 9, ethics through to volatility, is the Wiley textbook, topics 2 till 9. It's electronic, and now I'm sure people have by now caught wind of the latest CAIA developments. But now, in the past, you had to purchase the Wiley textbook. Now the Wiley textbook is part of your package. So I'm not going to say that it's free, but it is part of the package. So you do get that when you register for the CAIA exam, which I think is a fantastic initiative because it now makes that available to you at essentially no charge. Okay, that's where your material is coming from. You've got CAIA readings and you've got the Wiley textbook. Okay. There's other books and things that they give you. There's the emerging topics available free. The Wiley textbook is free. You've got the candidate handbook, the workbook, and the study guide. All of those are available to you at no charge from the CAIA website, caia.org. Go have a look over there. All wonderful resources and definitely worth the look, and have a look at some of those. Okay. We have a look a little bit over here, guys. We talk about the calculator policy. By now, I'm boring you to tears because, of course, you know those that have been at CAIA level 1 will know that the calculator that we use is the Texas BA2 Plus or the Professional. And guys, that's not a slant at all on the HP because yes, let me write it there for you. You can also use the HP 12C, which is a fantastic calculator. The only challenge is that very few of the providers are teaching on the HP. Most of us are teaching on the Texas, and that's, of course, why we recommend it. Okay. I'm not going to spend too much on the approach to work. That's more how edge approaches work. We'll talk about that in a second. Equations must be learned. There's a very small list of equations that will be provided to you in the exam, but it's probably about 95% at least, even up on that number, in terms of equations that need to be learned by you. But you guys are used to this now. Those are coming out of CFA and CAIA level 1. We know by now we've got to learn equations off by heart. Same story from CAIA level 1. Less than 30% in your exam are going to be calculation-based questions. Okay, so the majority of the questions, okay, I shouldn't say theory, but are not necessarily calculation-based. Okay, CAIA provides you with a workbook. It's a lovely little, we spoke about that a little bit earlier, a lovely resource. They also give you a free online exam, which of course must be done in your preparation for the exam. Okay, we spoke about this a bit earlier. The pass mark is guaranteed. In other words, if you get 70%, you are guaranteed to pass. But the truth is, the pass mark may even be lower. Results you get 6 weeks after the exam window closes. It is an agonizing wait as you wait for your results, but well worth it when you get those positive results. Okay. As mentioned, okay, I wanted to talk about, so we've had a bit of a look and we had a bit of a speak about the CAIA level 2 exam, what you can expect there, what's in there. We'll talk about that more as we go through the program itself. but it's just aligned to that. What I want to do just very briefly before I tell you what edge designations can do for you is I want to just talk about specifically to assist the writers from 2022 as to what has changed from 2022 to 2023. I'm going to move across to another worksheet over here. This is our one page of this. I definitely need to make just a little bit bigger. Okay, let's have a look over here. Okay, even make that a touch bigger there. Okay, we lose a bit of the clarity, but there we go. Okay, and in terms of the changes from CAIA level 2 from 2022 to 2023, very good news. Okay, there are very, very few changes. Okay, and what I've done over here, where the changes predominantly lie, they are twofold. Number one is important, number two is less so. The important one is the real changes. Real changes, what I mean by real changes is when we look at the emerging topics, which is topic number 1, which, by the way, we remember now is where your constructed response section is coming from. That is made up, and always has been made up for the past while, has been made up of 8 readings. Okay, as you can see them over here. Now, in terms of these 8 readings, what's happened in 2023, okay, 4 readings have been dropped and 4 new readings have been added. So yes, in terms of 2022, 2023, we've got to be very mindful that 4 new readings have joined the party, and they're lovely readings. They really are. They're fantastic. Okay, because they're very topical. What are the readings? I've highlighted those in pink. By the way, at Edge Designations, we do CFA, FRM, and CAIA. And in order to keep my mind about me, we give each level of each designation a color. For example, CFA level 1 is blue, level 2 is orange, level 3 is green. FRM, we've got a bit of blue and red in there for FRM part 1 and part 2. And by the time I got to CAIA, we were running out of colors. So my CAIA level 1 is purple, and CAIA level 2, I hope you enjoy the color, is pink. Okay. So I've highlighted in pink over there the 4 new readings, and look at them, they're actually fantastic. Reading 1.3, channels for exposure to Bitcoin. You can see that's quite a very topical, of course. 1.4, an introduction to portfolio rebalancing strategies. That was a little bit in the syllabus before. Okay, we talk about how to rebalance portfolios. Lovely one. 1.6, assessing long-term investor performance, principles, policies, and metrics, another goodie. And reading 1.8 is, of course, a very topical one, a short intro to the world of crypto. So basically, when we look at emerging topics, 4 in, 4 out, but there's a very strong crypto stroke Bitcoin, okay, blockchain link that we have over here, as well as quite a nice private equity slant as well, making this emerging topics very topical, of course. But that's the big change from 22 to 23, those 4 new readings that have been added. Of course, 4 have been dropped. The lesser important change, which is still important, okay, and a fantastic job done by Wiley and the team, is that they've taken the Wiley textbook and cleaned up a little bit, okay, updated a little bit, but that doesn't necessarily change the actual material itself. So when you look at from topic 2 all the way through to topic 9, you'll notice, okay, there's no pink on my right hand side, which I'm not saying there's no changes at all, but they are cosmetic changes. They clean up changes, and perhaps every now and then a little bit of a change in a statistic here or there. Okay, but nothing big, nothing structural coming from 2 through till 9, and therefore I haven't made any changes over there. Good news, of course, for those that need to rewrite this paper, or those guys that have been in the system for a bit that weren't able to write for whatever reason or other. Good news, only change is in emerging topics, 4 in and 4 out, and the 4 in are really lovely ones, guys. Okay. That then gives us a bit of a look in to see what the changes are from 22 to 23. What I want to do now is I want to go back to the original document I was working off, and I want to talk a little bit about what Edge Designations as a prep provider has got available for you, okay, and what we can do for you. Okay, I'm going to start off with option 2. We would never start from the beginning. Option 2. Option 2 is our online program. What do you get when you come to Edge for the online program? You get a comprehensive set of notes that covers every single learning objectives. Some call them LOSs, some call them LOs. Okay, it's all good. Okay, and what you find over here, okay, is that we've got a comprehensive set of notes. It's in PDF format. We beg, plead to people not to share them with everybody else, because obviously this is our IP. But on the reverse side, I don't want to overly protect them, because then they become unusable. You know, I know there's when I was studying about 15 years ago, and I used a prep provider, and I was only allowed to print 1 page at a time or something like that. We don't want any of that kind of stuff. But of course, we appeal to you to keep them to yourselves. Okay. The big question we get asked, oh, these are comprehensive notes. Do we then need the Wiley textbook? And my answer is, can you pass this exam on these notes, the Edge notes? Yes, you can. Okay. Is the Wiley textbook therefore redundant? Of course not. It's a fantastic resource. And it's always lovely to go back to it if you want some more information. Remember, the Edge notes is a summary. It's comprehensive, but I'm not going to give you, otherwise I might as well just reproduce the Wiley textbook. So they are summarized based upon the Wiley textbook. So the Wiley textbook is the original. Okay, always good to go back to the original if you ever need that. But you can't pass on the Edge notes. Aligned to that, we've got videos on the entire syllabus as well. So some people say, well, can we just watch the videos? Well, you can. Okay, because it does cover the entire syllabus from start to finish. You get a formula sheet here, and you get a nice Q bank as well. I often get asked by people, how big is your Q bank? How many thousands of questions? And I always say, that's not the question. You're asking the wrong, in my mind at least, you're asking the wrong question. Because remember, in my mind, the bigger focus in terms of a Q bank is, does it cover the entire syllabus? Yes. If it does, good. Okay. But then the onus then falls onto the candidate and onto the student, because often what we find is candidates are looking for thousands and thousands of questions. They're not going to get through them anyway, number one. And number two is your time is much better spent doing the questions slowly, feeding back those questions, seeing where you went wrong, seeing where you went right, understanding it, as opposed to doing so many questions that you're just flipping through them and trying to get through as many questions as you can, saying, "Phew, I've done 2,000 questions for this exam, I feel ready." I recently had a candidate that did 3,000, they did between 3,000 to 4,000 questions for CAIA L2. I said, where did you find them all? I was surprised and didn't know anyone had that many, that bank. They said, no, they had to buy 3 or 4 separate providers, Q banks, and they failed. I said, I'm not overly surprised, because sometimes we suffer, as opposed to going for quality, okay, we substitute quantity for quality. So, yes, you need a fair-sized Q bank, granted, but when you do the Q bank, you've got to, the onus then falls upon you as a candidate and as a student to do those questions intently, properly, with detailed feedback. Okay. How does option 1 then differ to option 2? Option 1 is exactly the same as option 2. That's why we started with option number 2, but you've got live Zoom classes as well. Now, what are these live Zoom classes? Well, we get together as a classroom, a CAIA Level 2 classroom. Okay, it's an international classroom. It's fantastic because we get everybody from all around the world. Okay, we specifically have those classes on a Sunday, relatively late here in our time zone, which makes it around about 9, 10 a.m. in the morning for the Americas, North Americas. It makes it an afternoon for the Europeans, Germany, UK, okay. It makes it a little bit late, but not too late for those coming out of Hong Kong and Australia as well. Okay, it'll be a bit of a later Sunday night for you. But those live Zoom classes are fantastic because what we do in those classes, first of all, the very first rule of those live Zoom classes is that they belong to the student. In other words, you can ask whatever you like. You can email me before, say, listen, I've just studied there's one topic in emerging topics. I don't understand what is going on there. Could you go over that a little bit in class together with us? Absolute pleasure. You can ask whatever questions you like. You can interact in the class. It really is a fantastic session to come together to gain knowledge. That's the live Zoom classes. Option number 3, as we get closer towards exam time, we give you what we call the revision exam program. Okay, again, comprehensive set of notes, revision videos, around about 20 hours where we go through the entire syllabus from start to finish, but of course that is in revision format, okay, as opposed to the videos in option 1 and 2, which is in much more, probably about 60 hours worth of video, taking through the entire syllabus. And then you get a formula sheet, and of course you get 6 exams on our QBank. Just not to be misleading, option 6 is exams as well, which is the 6 exams as well. They are not 6 exams, they are 3 full exams. Because remember, each exam has got exam session 1 and exam session 2. So when you say 6 exams, it's 6 half exams, 3 full exams. Option 4 is a QBank. And option 5, if you're just looking for notes, we got that available for you as well. Okay, I hope I've given you a bit of a good look as to what Edge can do for you in terms of our offerings. I will leave this video and I will leave with obviously, as I mentioned, my name is Russell Jude. Okay, and I'm just going to leave you with our web address, okay, which is Edge, nice and easy to remember, Edge Designations, okay, .com. And if you want any more details in terms of what we offer, in terms of our pricing, all of that is available to you there on the website. As we conclude, I just to wish everybody, those that join us and those that don't join us, we hope you do join us, of course, but if you don't, best of luck to everybody out there. Enjoy CAIA Level 2. It's a fantastic syllabus. Just go out and enjoy as you study. Enjoy the process as well. And best of luck to everybody for the upcoming exam in March 2023.